Ms. Ashford, will you be closing the cafe? The journalist's microphone tilts toward her face, rain streaming down its foam cover. Behind them, the platform is chaos. Construction barriers, yellow caution tape, a tarp-covered piano that's been silent for 20 years. Marielle blinks into the lights, aware that 3 local news cameras are pointed at her, that Nina is gripping her arm, that Mr. Whitmore stands stiffly in his railway vest, holding the station master's keys like a talisman. Station Tide has been part of Harwick Junction for 15 years, the journalist continues, rain soaking through everyone's coats. With the renovation disrupting foot traffic and the council considering new lease terms, will you be renewing? The contract sits in her bag. Heavy cream paper, legal jargon, a signature line that feels like a trap. Renew and risk another year of construction chaos, dwindling revenue, the slow death of everything she built. Walk away and prove what she's always suspected, that nothing she loves ever stays. She opens her mouth. Actually, a voice cuts through the rain. She won't be making that decision alone. Marielle's breath stops. Taehyun steps into the frame, rain plastering his black hair to his forehead, still wearing the charcoal turtleneck she saw him in this morning when he left without saying where he was going. He's holding something. A folder, she realizes. Official looking, with the Seoul Museum of Acoustic Heritage embossed in gold. Seo Tae-hyun, the piano restorer, the journalist pivots eagerly. There are rumors you've been offered the lead acoustics position in Seoul. Can you confirm? I'm confirming, he says quietly, eyes locked on Marielle, that I'm staying in Harwick Junction. The station piano will be completed in 6 weeks, and Station Tide will be its permanent home for community concerts. The journalist smells blood. And your relationship with Ms. Ashford is the reason, he interrupts, still not looking away from her. I finally understand what home means. The cameras swivel, waiting. The rain drums harder, drowning out everything except the pulse in Marielle's ears and the question she can't escape. Does she believe him? Because 47 years have taught her that when something sounds too good, it's because it is. The journalist leans in. Ms. Ashford, your response. And Marielle realizes, with the contract burning a hole through her bag and rain streaming down her face, that the entire town is waiting to see if she'll finally choose to be chosen. If you've ever been afraid to believe someone could stay, not because they should, but because they want to, then this story is for you. If it resonates, subscribe so we can keep writing love stories for people who thought their chapter had closed. The Thursday morning arrives the way it always does in Harwick Junction, gray, damp, stitched together with the rhythm of commuter footsteps and train whistles. Marielle unlocks Station Tide at 6:47 a.m., 13 minutes before the first customer will push through the door asking for a flat white, no foam, oat milk if she has it. She has it. She always has it. The cafe smells like dark roast and old wood, the espresso machine hissing as it warms. She wipes down the counter, walnut, salvaged from the original station waiting room, and arranges the pastries Nina will pretend to consider before ordering her usual almond croissant. The window facing platform 3 is already fogging, rain stippling the glass like Morse code she stopped trying to translate years ago. Routine is kind. Routine doesn't ask questions. At 7:42 a.m., the door chimes. Marielle looks up from the steam wand, and time does something strange. Not stopping, but bending, the way light bends through water. The man in the doorway is soaked through, dark hair plastered to his forehead, rain dripping from the collar of an olive wool coat that's seen better decades. He's carrying a leather tool case, the kind that looks like it survived wars, and he doesn't shake off the rain or apologize for the puddle forming around his boots. He just stands there, scanning the room with the assessing gaze of someone cataloging acoustics. Korean, she thinks, then immediately hates herself for the assumption. But there's something in the deliberate way he moves, setting the case down gently, unwinding a scarf with economical motions, that reminds her of the exchange students she used to tutor, the ones who treated borrowed spaces like promises. He approaches the counter. Up close, his eyes are dark, focused, the kind that miss nothing. What's the most honest coffee you make? His English is clear, accent soft around the edges like stones worn smooth by water. Marielle blinks, thrown by the phrasing. Honest? No flavors hiding behind it. Just what it is. Something in his tone, or maybe the fact that he's asking instead of ordering, makes her pause. She studies him. Mid-30s, tired but not exhausted, hands that look careful. Dark roast, Brazilian single origin. I don't sweeten it. Perfect. She pours. He waits without scrolling his phone, hands folded on the counter like a man who knows how to be still. When she slides the cup across, he lifts it, inhales deeply, sips. His eyes close for a beat longer than necessary. This is it, he says. Opens his eyes, devastating in their certainty. Just needs one thing. Marielle arches an eyebrow. Sugar? He smiles. It's small, asymmetric, the kind that rewires something in her chest she thought had been safely disconnected. Music. He nods toward the window, where the rain blurs the outline of the old Steinway upright on the platform. The one that's been slowly dying for 2 decades, keys yellowed like old teeth, hammered by weather and apathy. Marielle follows his gaze. That thing died before I opened this place. Then we'll bring it back. There's no arrogance in it, no sales pitch, just certainty, like he's talking about weather or gravity. You the guy they hired? She asks. Seo Tai-hyun, piano restoration. Acoustic engineer when people need fancy words. He extends a hand. You're the sanctuary keeper. She shouldn't laugh, but it slips out, dry, surprised. Marielle, and this is just a cafe. No. He shakes his head once. It's where tired people remember they're still human. That's a sanctuary. Before she can answer, he's already turning toward the door, pulling a tarp from his case. I'll start tomorrow, but I'll need your coffee every morning. Why mine? He pauses at the threshold, rain soaking his shoulders again, and looks back with an expression that feels like being seen through fog. Because you make it like you mean it. The door closes. Marielle stands there holding a 20-pound note he left on the counter, payment for a 3-pound coffee, and realizes 2 things. First, that she hasn't hoped for anything in 5 years. Second, that something just walked in from the rain and cracked the door open anyway. Outside, through the fogged glass, she watches him kneel beside the piano, running his hand along the warped wood like he's checking a pulse. And the third thing she realizes, the one that terrifies her, is that she wants to know what that piano sounds like when it remembers how to sing. Tae-hyun arrives the next morning at 7:38 a.m., 4 minutes earlier than yesterday, and orders the same dark roast in the same quiet voice. This time he's wearing a charcoal turtleneck under a canvas jacket, tool belt slung low on his hips, and Marielle pretends not to notice the way fabric pulls across his shoulders when he reaches for the cup. Sleep well? She asks, because small talk is armor. Thought about your piano all night. The casual, possessive, your piano, does something inconvenient to her pulse. It's not mine, she says. Belongs to the station. Mr. Whitmore's jurisdiction. Whitmore says it belongs to whoever can make it sing again. He takes a slow sip, eyes never leaving hers. So I'm saying it's yours. Before she can unpack that, he's out the door, rain greeting him like an old friend. She watches through the window as he sets up a workspace. Tarp spread like a surgical field. Tools arranged with the precision of someone who treats objects as collaborators, not servants. He opens the piano's lid with both hands, reverent, the way you'd open a letter from someone you thought was dead. Nina arrives at 8:03 a.m., shaking rain from her burgundy leather jacket. Is that him? She breathes, fogging the window as she presses close. The piano guy? Tae-hyun, and yes, Marielle. Nina turns, eyes bright with the gleeful scheming Marielle has learned to fear. He's gorgeous. Also, he's been staring at this building for 3 minutes like it's a Monet. He's looking at the acoustics. He's looking at you. Marielle hands her the almond croissant, bypassing the menu entirely. Don't. Don't what? Whatever you're planning. Nina bites into the croissant, grinning. I'm planning to record ambient sound for the podcast. Totally innocent. The fact that it involves interviewing him is pure coincidence. Nina. But she's already out the door. Recorder in hand, boots splashing through puddles toward the man kneeling in the rain, like he's praying to wood and wire. Marielle watches them talk. Watches Taehyun's face shift from professional courtesy to something softer when Nina gestures toward the cafe, toward her. He glances up, catches Marielle staring, and does that small asymmetric smile again. She turns away, heart doing stupid things. At 11:27 a.m., between the breakfast rush and lunch trickle, she hears it. A single note. Clear, trembling, impossibly fragile. The A above middle C, sustained for 3 seconds before fading into rain sound. Marielle's hand still on the espresso portafilter. Every customer in the cafe turns toward the window. Taehyun is sitting on the piano bench, tool still in hand, head tilted like he's listening for ghosts. He plays the note again. Longer this time. Something in it aches. Marielle sets down the portafilter and walks out onto the platform without meaning to, steam from her cup twisting upward into cold air. Her shoes are getting soaked. She doesn't care. Taehyun looks up, rain dripping from his hair. "It remembers," he says. His voice is quiet, odd, and Marielle realizes he's not talking to her. He's talking to the piano, this thing that everyone assumed was past saving. "One note?" she asks. It's a start. He runs his fingers along the keys without pressing down, touch gentle as a question. Everything starts from one note. The rest is just patience. She should go back inside. She has customers, orders, the safe distance of the counter between her and things that feel too much like hope. But she stays, rain soaking through her cardigan, watching him coax sound from silence. "Why do you care so much?" The question escapes before she can stop it. "About a piano nobody plays?" He looks at her then, really looks, and she feels 14 years old and 47 all at once. Because nobody playing it doesn't mean nobody needs it. The silence that follows is louder than the rain. Finally, Marielle says, "I should get back. Your coffee's getting cold." "It's fine. I like it bitter." His smile is sad this time. "No, you don't." She walks back inside, leaving wet footprints on the platform, and doesn't let herself look back even though she knows he's watching. Because if she looks back, she'll have to admit that she heard what he didn't say, that he wasn't talking about the piano at all. The napkin appears on Tuesday. Marielle finds it tucked under the 20-pound note Taehyun leaves every morning. Still overpaying, still refusing change. The napkin is Station-Tide's standard white, but the handwriting is careful, slanted, the ink slightly smudged by rain or hurry. "Your coffee tastes like patience." She stares at it for 30 seconds, heart doing complicated things, before folding it precisely in half and slipping it into her apron pocket, where it burns against her hip for the rest of the shift. Wednesday. Fix the door hinge. It was asking nicely. She hadn't mentioned the squeaky hinge. Hadn't asked. But when she tests it after closing, it swings silent and smooth, and she finds herself smiling at the empty cafe like a fool. Thursday. Do you ever wonder what rain sounds like to someone who can't hear? This one stops her. She reads it 3 times, trying to decode subtext, then realizes there might not be any, that he might just be someone who thinks in questions that don't have answers. She tucks it with the others, a small paper stack growing in her apron like evidence. Friday, he doesn't leave a note. Marielle tells herself she's not disappointed. Tells herself all through the breakfast rush, the lunch lull, the afternoon where rain turns to drizzle and back to downpour. At 5:47 p.m., she's wiping down tables when she sees it. A 5th napkin, weighted down by the chipped blue mug. Her grandmother's, the one she uses only when she's alone. If silence had a flavor, it would be the last sip of cold coffee. But your coffee never gets cold around me. Something cracks open in her chest. She looks up, and he's there, silhouetted in the doorway, soaked again, always soaked, like rain is his natural state. "You used my mug," she says, voice unsteady. "You left it on the counter. I thought..." He hesitates. "I thought maybe you wouldn't mind." I mind that you're always wet. He blinks, then laughs, and the sound is so unexpected, warm, unguarded, that it fills the cafe like the note from the piano. I could say the same about your espresso machine. That's steam. It's atmospheric. They're grinning at each other like idiots, and Marielle realizes with creeping horror that this is flirting, that she's 47 years old and flirting with a man who leaves poetry on napkins and fixes things without being asked. I should go, he says, not moving. You should. Neither of them moves. Rain hammers the windows. The cafe smells like coffee and old wood and something new, something terrifying. Tae-hyun, she starts. Don't, he says quietly. Don't do the thing where you list all the reasons this is a bad idea. You don't even know what I was going to say. Yes, I do. He takes one step closer. Just one. And she can see rain caught in his eyelashes. You were going to say I'm too young, or you're too old, or this is just proximity and caffeine. But Marielle, her name in his mouth is devastating. I've restored 43 pianos in 7 countries. I know the difference between a project and a person who makes me want to stay in one place. She should say something, anything, but her throat has forgotten how words work. I'll see you Monday, he says. Same coffee, same time. And if you want me to stop leaving notes, just say so. But if you don't, he leaves the sentence unfinished, a cliffhanger she'll spend the entire weekend trying to resolve. The door closes behind him. Marielle stands alone in the cafe, holding a napkin that smells like rain and honesty, and realizes she's in trouble. The kind of trouble that starts with one impossible note and ends with your whole life rearranged. Monday comes too fast and not fast enough. Marielle opens the cafe at 6:47 a.m., the same as always, but nothing feels the same. She's changed her cardigan 3 times, practiced casual greetings in the mirror, told herself she's being ridiculous. At 7:38 a.m., the door chimes. Tae-hyun looks tired, shadows under his eyes, hair slightly wilder than usual, and she realizes with a jolt that maybe he had a weekend too. Maybe he also stared at ceilings and replayed conversations and wondered what the hell he was doing. Dark roast? She asks. Please. His voice is careful. They're both being so careful it hurts. She pours. He waits. When she slides the cup across, their fingers brush and the contact is electric, terrifying, over in a heartbeat. Thank you, he says. She nods. He leaves a 20-pound note. No napkin. Marielle's stomach drops. He's at the door when she says, Tae-hyun. He turns. The notes, she blurts. I don't want you to stop. The smile that breaks across his face is sunrise after weeks of rain. Okay, he says. Okay. He leaves, and Marielle exhales for what feels like the first time in 3 days. At 9:15 a.m., Nina corners her. You're glowing. I'm not glowing. I'm caffeinated. You're into him. Nina leans across the counter, eyes sharp with affection. And before you deflect, I'm going to say something as your friend. Let yourself have this. Have what? Notes on napkins? Have someone who looks at you like you're the reason he believes in holy things. Nina's voice softens. Marielle, you've been running this place for 15 years. You remember everyone's order, fix their bad mornings, never ask for anything. When's the last time someone fixed something for you? The door hinge, the napkins, the way he says her name like it matters. It's not that simple, Marielle says. Why not? Because she's 47 with silver threading through her hair and a body that's more comfortable than beautiful. Because he's 34 with a whole life ahead of him and a career that could take him anywhere. Because 3 years ago, she proposed to a man who said yes and then disappeared, and she promised herself she'd never be that naive again. But she doesn't say any of that. He's leaving eventually, she says instead. The restoration won't last forever. Nina studies her for a long moment. And you think that means it doesn't count? Before Marielle can answer, the lunch rush hits, and the conversation drowns in orders and steam. But at 3:22 p.m., when the cafe empties and rain picks up again, She finds another napkin under the blue mug. I used to think home was a place. Now I'm starting to think it's a person. Is that too much for a Tuesday? Marielle reads it twice, throat tight, and realizes Nina was right. She's already let herself have this. The question is whether she'll let herself keep it. The construction starts on a Wednesday. Marielle arrives at 6:30 a.m. to find Platform 3 cordoned off with yellow tape, scaffolding creeping up the station's Victorian facade like industrial ivy. A crew in high-vis vests mills around the piano, and her stomach clenches with irrational panic. Tae-hyun is already there, standing between the piano and a man with a clipboard, body language tense. She unlocks the cafe, starts the machines on autopilot, and watches through the window. The clipboard man is gesturing sharply. Tae-hyun shakes his head, points to the piano, shakes his head again, firmer this time. At 7:42 a.m., he walks in looking like a storm. They want to move it, he says without preamble. Store it in a warehouse until the renovation's done. 3 months minimum. Can they do that? They can do whatever the hell they want. It's council property. Marielle's never heard him curse before. It's startling, humanizing. What did you tell them? That moving it now would destroy the stabilization work. That the humidity differential alone could crack the soundboard beyond repair. That they hired me to restore it, not bury it in storage. And? His jaw tightens. They said they'd take it under advisement, which means they're going to do it anyway. Marielle pours his coffee in silence, mind racing. Station Tide exists because of commuter traffic, people grabbing breakfast before the 8:15, lunch between meetings, and end-of-day pastry before heading home. If construction blocks Platform 3, reroutes foot traffic, makes accessing the cafe inconvenient. Hey. She looks up. Tae-hyun is watching her with an expression that's too gentle for how terrified she is. We'll figure it out, he says. You don't know that. I know that you've been here 15 years. That you've survived rent increases and chain coffee shops and a pandemic. That you make the best coffee in 3 counties and people come here because of you, not just convenience. You've been here 3 weeks, you don't... I know, he interrupts quietly, that you're scared. And I know that when you're scared, you push people away before they can leave first. The air leaves her lungs. I need to prep for opening, she says, turning away because looking at him hurts. He doesn't leave, just stands there, coffee cooling in his hands. Marielle, don't. I'm not him. She freezes. I don't know who he was or what he did. Tae-hyun continues, voice steady. But I know someone hurt you badly enough that you don't let anyone get close. And I'm not asking you to trust me overnight. But I'm asking you to let me stay while you figure it out. She's gripping the counter so hard her knuckles ache. Why? The word comes out broken. Because fixing the piano's just a job, but fixing what's broken between us, that's the work I actually care about. The silence stretches. Outside, rain starts again. And she thinks about doors and hinges and things that get repaired when you're not looking. I have customers, she whispers. I know. He leaves the coffee untouched, walks out into the rain, and goes back to arguing with the clipboard man about a piano that's worth saving. And Marielle stands alone in her sanctuary, finally understanding why she's been collecting his napkins like prayers. Because maybe, just maybe, she's worth saving too. The construction makes everything worse. By Friday, foot traffic drops 40%. The 8:15 train reroutes to Platform 5, bypassing the cafe entirely. Marielle watches her morning regulars trickle to nothing, watches scaffolding eat the view she's relied on for 15 years, and feels the walls closing in. At 6:03 p.m., she's staring at the register receipts, barely enough to cover costs, when the door chimes. Tae-hyun, soaked again, carrying 2 paper bags that smell like ginger and garlic. You haven't eaten, he says. Not a question. I'm fine. Liar. He sets the bags on the counter, starts unpacking containers with the easy confidence of someone who's decided they're staying regardless of permission. What is this? Korean comfort food. Kimchi jjigae, japchae, banchan. I called my mother and asked what to make when someone's having a terrible week. Despite everything, Marielle almost smiles. You called your mother? She's very opinionated about food. He glances up, eyes warm. And she said anyone who makes good coffee deserves a good meal. Tae-hyun. Marielle. He says it gently, firmly. Let me do this, please. She should say no. Should maintain boundaries, protect herself, all the sensible things she's practiced for years. Instead, she says, okay. They eat in the cafe after she locks the door, rain drumming the windows like accompaniment. He explains each dish in detail. This is stew, this is glass noodles, this is radish kimchi his grandmother used to make. And she listens, tasting things that are spicy and comforting and nothing like her own cooking. This is incredible, she says around a mouthful of noodles. This is me showing off. He grins. I wanted to impress you. Why? The question hangs between them. Because, he says slowly, you've spent 3 weeks making me coffee and listening to me talk about piano hammers and never asking for anything in return. And I wanted to give you something that wasn't transactional. Tae-hyun, you fixed half the things in this cafe. That's different. How? He sets down his chopsticks. Because fixing a hinge is easy. Showing you that I care about more than just coffee, that's harder. Her throat tightens. I'm 13 years older than you. I know. You could have anyone. I don't want anyone. He leans forward, elbows on the table, gaze steady. I want the woman who makes honest coffee and remembers everyone's order and built a sanctuary out of stubbornness and hope. I want you. Marielle's heart is hammering. You'll leave, she whispers. Eventually. Maybe. But leaving doesn't erase being here, doesn't erase this. He gestures at the table, the food, the space between them that's gotten dangerously small. And I'm not asking for forever tonight. I'm just asking if I can keep making you dinner. She looks at him. Really looks. At the rain in his hair, the sincerity in his eyes, the hands that fix broken things, including, apparently, her. Okay, she says. Okay? Keep making me dinner. His smile is supernova. They clean up together, moving around each other with the ease of people who've done this before in another life. And when he leaves at 9:47 p.m., he pauses at the door. Marielle? Yeah? Thank you for letting me in. The door closes, and she's alone with the smell of ginger and the terrifying realization that she's falling for someone who might actually stay. Which is, she's discovering, more frightening than being left. Saturday, he texts her. Tae-hyun, teach me British grocery store. Marielle. What? Tae-hyun. I need ingredients. I'm lost in Tesco, please. She finds him 20 minutes later, standing in the baking aisle looking genuinely distressed, basket full of random items. Is that custard powder? She asks. I thought it was cornstarch. Why do you need cornstarch? I don't know. He runs a hand through his hair. Everything's labeled weird. I tried to buy spring onions and accidentally got leeks. Marielle starts laughing, and once she starts, she can't stop. He watches her with that small asymmetric smile, and she realizes he probably knew exactly what he was buying. He just wanted an excuse to see her on her day off. Come on, she says, taking his basket. Let's fix this. They spend an hour navigating Tesco like an odd couple sitcom. Her explaining the difference between castor sugar and granulated, him fascinated by Marmite. Why would anyone eat this? We don't talk about Marmite, both of them arguing about the best biscuits for tea. Digestives are superior, Marielle insists. Objectively wrong. Hobnobs. You've been here 3 weeks, and I have taste. She's grinning so hard her face hurts. At checkout, he loads everything onto the belt, and she notices he's bought ingredients for at least 5 meals. Planning to cook a lot? Planning to have dinner with you a lot. He hands his card to the cashier, ignoring her protests. If you'll let me. The cashier, an older woman with kind eyes, glances between them. You two are lovely together. Marielle opens her mouth to correct her. Thank you, Taehyun says instead, and takes Marielle's hand. Her heart stops. They walk to his flat, a studio above the Korean grocery 3 blocks from the station, and she's suddenly aware that they're alone, that his hand is warm in hers, that crossing this threshold means something. I can go, she says at the door. Do you want to? No. God, no. I should. That's not what I asked. She looks at him, this man who walked in from the rain and dismantled every defense she spent years building. I'm scared, she admits. Me too. Of what? That I'll mess this up. That I'll fall for you and you'll never believe I mean it. The honesty breaks her. Come inside, he says softly. Let me make you dinner. That's all. Just dinner. She follows him in. The flat is small, neat, filled with piano parts and sheet music and photographs of places she's never been. He cooks while she sits at the tiny table. And they talk. About Seoul, about her sister Grace, about why he left engineering for restoration, about the man who proposed and disappeared. He said yes? Taehyun asks quietly, knife stilling on the cutting board. For now. That's what he said. Yes. For now. Marielle traces the rim of her water glass. 3 months later, he left a voicemail saying he wasn't ready. I haven't heard from him since. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm better off. You are, he agrees, but it still hurt. She looks up, surprised by the gentleness. It did, she whispers. He brings the food over, bulgogi, rice, perfectly arranged banchan, and they eat in comfortable silence. After, he walks her to the door, and they stand in the hallway, neither quite ready to let go. Marielle? Yeah? I'm not saying yes for now. I'm just saying yes. And before she can talk herself out of it, she kisses him. It's soft, tentative, tasting like ginger and promise. His hands come up to cradle her face, and she feels 14 and 47 and ageless all at once. When they part, he's looking at her like she hung the stars. I should go, she breathes. You should. But she kisses him again, and this time it's her saying yes, 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 to something that terrifies and exhilarates her in equal measure. She leaves at midnight, lips swollen and heart open, and realizes she's in freefall with no idea where she'll land. But for the first time in 5 years, she's not afraid of the fall. Sunday morning, Marielle wakes up terrified. She kissed him. She kissed him. What was she thinking? She wasn't thinking. That was the problem. She spends the entire day spiraling, cleaning the already clean flat, calling Grace who doesn't answer, reorganizing the cafe's storage room twice. By evening, she's convinced herself that Monday will be unbearably awkward, that she's ruined everything, that he probably regrets it. Monday, 7:38 a.m. Taehyun walks in looking nervous. They stare at each other. Hi, he says. Hi. Can we... He gestures vaguely. Can we talk about Saturday? Marielle's stomach drops. You regret it. What? No, the opposite. The opposite? Marielle. He steps closer, and she sees the same fear in his eyes that's been eating her alive. I haven't stopped thinking about it. About you. And I need to know if Saturday was... I'm scared, she blurts. He stops. I'm 47, she continues, words tumbling out. I have gray hair and stretch marks and a cafe that's barely breaking even. You're brilliant and young, and you'll get bored. I won't. You don't know that. Yes, I do. He closes the distance, hands gentle on her shoulders. I know because I've spent 3 weeks watching you. Watching you remember that the guy in the blue jacket takes his coffee black with 1 sugar. That the pregnant woman needs decaf. That Mr. Whitmore likes his tea at exactly 10:15. You see people, Marielle. You make them feel human. Do you have any idea how rare that is? Her eyes are burning. And your age? He shakes his head. I don't care. I've dated people my age who couldn't see past themselves. I've dated people who treated relationships like career moves. But you make me want to stay still, You make me want to build something that lasts. Taehyun, I'm falling for you, he says simply. And I'm terrified too. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe with anyone else. A sob breaks free. He pulls her in, and she cries into his shoulder while the espresso machine hisses and rain patters the windows, and the cafe fills with the smell of coffee and new beginnings. I kissed you, she mumbles into his shirt. You did. I didn't mean to. Liar. She laughs through tears. Okay, I meant to. Good. He pulls back, thumbs wiping her cheeks. Because I'd like to kiss you again. If that's okay. She nods. This kiss is different, slower, surer, the kind that tastes like trust. His hands are in her hair, hers are fisted in his jacket, and when they finally break apart, she's breathless and grinning. I'm still scared, she says. That's okay. We'll be scared together. The door chimes. Nina walks in, takes one look at them, and grins. Finally. Marielle groans. Don't start. Too late. I'm already planning the podcast episode. Absolutely not. But she's smiling, and Taehyun is smiling, and for the first time in years, the fear doesn't feel bigger than the hope. The first time someone comments, it's a Tuesday. Marielle and Taehyun are standing outside the cafe, reviewing blueprints for the platform restoration, when a regular, Mrs. Chen, 60-something, always orders Earl Grey, stops. You two make a lovely couple, she says. Then, eyes sliding to Marielle. He must keep you young. It's meant as a compliment. It lands like a blade. Marielle smiles tightly. Mrs. Chen leaves. Taehyun looks at her with concern. You okay? Fine. She's not fine. That night, alone in her flat, she Googles age gap relationships and falls down a rabbit hole of articles about power dynamics and life stages and celebrities who date younger and get eviscerated for it. She stares at photos of herself, really looks at the lines around her eyes, the silver in her curls, the body that's comfortable but not magazine perfect. What is he seeing? What will he see in 5 years when she's 52 and he's 39? By Wednesday, she's built a new wall. Taehyun notices immediately. What's wrong? Nothing. Marielle. I'm just tired. He doesn't push, but his eyes are worried. Thursday, she makes an excuse to skip their dinner. Friday, she's distant, professional, all the warmth locked behind glass. Saturday, he corners her after closing. What did I do? Nothing. Then why are you shutting me out? I'm not. Yes, you are. His voice is gentle but firm. You've been doing it all week. And I need to know if this is about us or about you. She should lie. Instead, she says, Mrs. Chen called me a cradle robber. He blinks. What? She didn't say it like that. But that's what she meant. That I'm too old for you. That people are going to talk, that... Marielle. He steps closer. I don't care what Mrs. Chen thinks. But I do. The words explode out. I care that people look at us and see something wrong. I care that you're going to wake up one day and realize you're dating someone who's closer to 50 than 40 and what? He's not angry, just confused. And I'll suddenly forget why I fell for you? Forget that you're funny and kind and make me feel like I found something I didn't know I was looking for. You don't understand. Then help me understand. She sinks into a chair, exhausted. When I was 42, I proposed to someone I loved, and he said yes. But he added, for now, like I was a placeholder, like he was settling until something better came along. Taehyun's expression shifts to something fierce. 3 months later, he left, she continues. And I promised myself I'd never be someone's for now again. That I'd never give someone the chance to realize I wasn't enough. Marielle. But then you walked in, and you're young and brilliant, and you have your whole life ahead of you. And I keep waiting for the moment you realize you made a mistake. He kneels in front of her, taking her hands. Listen to me, he says quietly. That man was an idiot. And every day you let his cowardice dictate your worth is a day he wins. It's not that simple. It is. His grip tightens. You think age is the problem, but it's not. Fear is. You're using 13 years as armor because it's easier than believing someone could choose you on purpose. The truth of it hits like a physical blow. I'm scared, she whispers. I know. But Marielle, I'm not him. I'm not leaving. I'm not settling. I'm choosing you. Every single day. And I need you to let me. She's crying again, and he pulls her close, and she realizes he's right. Age isn't the weapon. Fear is. And she's been wielding it against herself. The renovation hits critical mass in week 6. Platform 3 is completely blocked. Scaffolding everywhere, dust coating every surface, the constant scream of drills making conversation impossible. Foot traffic at Station Tide drops 70%. Marielle watches the register receipts dwindle and feels panic tightening like a vice. Tuesday, she gets a letter from the council. Lease renewal is due in 3 weeks. New terms: 20% rent increase, mandatory health and safety audit, compliance costs estimated at $8,000. She can't afford it. That night, she sits in the empty cafe, staring at the letter, and allows herself to consider the unthinkable. Closing down. Taehyun finds her there at 9 p.m. Hey, he says softly. You weren't answering texts. She wordlessly hands him the letter. His jaw tightens as he reads. They can't do this. They can. They are. Marielle, I'm going to lose it. Her voice cracks. 15 years, and I'm going to lose it because they want to restore a piano. Nobody plays. That's not... Isn't it? She stands, anger and grief spilling over. Your restoration is killing my cafe. The construction, the blocked access, the noise. This place can't survive it. He flinches like she slapped him. I'm sorry, he says quietly. I didn't think about... No, you didn't. It's unfair and she knows it. But she's drowning and needs someone to blame. You just walked in and decided to save something nobody asked you to save, and now I'm paying for it. Silence. You're right, he says finally. I'm sorry. And he leaves. Marielle sinks into a chair, hating herself, hating the council, hating the universe for giving her something beautiful just to rip it away. She doesn't sleep. Wednesday, Taehyun doesn't come for coffee. Neither does he come Thursday. Friday, Nina sits her down. What did you say to him? The truth. Which is? That his piano project is destroying my cafe. Nina winces. Mar, it's true. Maybe. But it's also not his fault. The council's to blame. The construction company. Not the guy who's been trying to bring music back to this station. Marielle knows she's right. She knows. And it makes everything worse. I don't know how to fix this, she whispers. Nina squeezes her hand. Start by apologizing. Then we figure out the rest. That evening, Marielle walks to Taehyun's flat. He opens the door looking exhausted. Hi, she says. Hi. Can I come in? He steps aside. They sit at the tiny table and she says, I'm sorry. You didn't deserve what I said. I was scared and angry and I took it out on you. I get it. That doesn't make it okay. No, he agrees. But I understand. I don't want to lose you, she says quietly. But I also don't know how to save my cafe. He reaches across the table, takes her hand. Then let me help. How? His smile is small, determined. I have an idea. But you have to trust me. She looks at him. This man who fixes broken things, who makes her believe in second chances. Okay, she says. I trust you. And prays that trust is enough. Monday morning, Platform 3 is transformed. The scaffolding's pushed back, the piano uncovered, and there's a small stage set up with speakers and chairs. A hand-painted sign reads, Lunchtime recital, 12:30 p.m., free admission. Marielle stares through the cafe window, heart hammering. Taehyun walks in at 7:38 a.m., like nothing's changed. What did you do? She asks. Got permits? Called in favors. Convinced the construction crew to take extended lunch breaks. He shrugs. And I'm going to play. You're... what? I'm giving a concert. Classical, jazz, requests, every weekday at 12:30 until the renovation's done. He sets down exact change for once. Drive traffic back to the platform. Back to you. Tae-hyun, you don't have to... I know. I want to. Before she can argue, he's out the door, running through sound checks with Nina, who apparently helped orchestrate the entire thing. At 12:27 p.m., people start gathering. At 12:30, Tae-hyun sits down at the piano. At 12:31, he plays, and Marielle's world shifts. The piano, this thing everyone assumed was dead, sings. Clear, resonant, aching with beauty. He starts with Chopin, something mournful and lovely, and commuters stop in their tracks. Construction workers set down tools. Passengers waiting for trains drift closer. By 12:45, there are 50 people crowded around Platform 3. By 1s, there's a line at Station Tide's door. Marielle and Nina work frantically, pulling espressos and wrapping sandwiches, and the register rings with sales she hasn't seen in weeks. When the concert ends, applause echoes through the station. Tae-hyun stands, bows, and says into the microphone, "Thank you all for coming. This piano has been silent for 20 years, but today it remembers. And it remembers because someone in this station believed broken things could be beautiful again." He looks directly at the cafe. At her. "Same time tomorrow," he says. "And thank you to Station Tide for the best coffee in England. Go buy some." Laughter ripples through the crowd. They do. That night, Marielle counts receipts and cries. Tae-hyun finds her in the closed cafe, and she launches herself at him, kissing him hard. "You saved me," she says against his mouth. "No." He pulls back, cupping her face. "You saved yourself 15 years ago when you opened this place. I just reminded people to pay attention." "I love you," she blurts. His smile is everything. "I love you too." And for the first time, she believes him. The concerts become legend. Every weekday at 12:30, Tae-hyun plays. Sometimes classical, sometimes jazz, sometimes pop songs rearranged into something haunting. People request pieces, Clair de Lune, Moon River, modern hits transformed into piano poetry that makes grown men weep into their takeaway cups. Local news covers it, a BBC regional segment. Nina's podcast episode goes viral, hitting number 3 on Apple's Society and Culture charts, and Station Tide thrives. Marielle hires a part-time assistant, a university student named Priya, who has her grandmother's gift for remembering faces. Mr. Whitmore starts accidentally scheduling construction breaks around concert time. The council, seeing tourism spike and social media buzzing with Theatre Harwick piano, quietly drops the rent increase. Everything is perfect. Which is when Seoul calls. Marielle's in the cafe when Tae-hyun walks in at 4 p.m., face unreadable. "Hey," she says, wiping down the espresso machine. "Everything okay? Can we talk?" Her stomach drops. They sit at the corner table, their table now, the one where he always leaves his tool bag and she brings him lunch without asking. And he shows her his phone. An email from the Seoul Museum of Acoustic Heritage. Subject: Lead acoustics engineer position. Formal offer. She scans the email. Prestigious role. Dream project restoring historical Korean instruments for the National Collection. 6-figure salary. Housing stipend. Start date in 8 weeks. "Oh," she says. "Yeah. That's incredible, Tae-hyun." It is. Silence stretches between them like a chasm. "You should take it," she says finally. He looks at her sharply. "What?" "It's your dream job. You'd be working with instruments that matter, preserving cultural heritage. You should take it." "Marielle, I mean it." She's building walls again. She can feel it, brick by brick, but she can't stop. "This is huge. You'd be insane to turn it down for a cafe and a piano project and you?" The word hangs between them like smoke. "Yes," she says quietly. "And me." He's silent for a long moment, jaw working. "What if I don't want to?" then you'll resent me eventually. You don't know that. I do. She forces herself to meet his eyes. Because this is what I was afraid of. That you'd get an offer you can't refuse, and I'd be the thing standing in your way. You're not. I am. Her voice breaks. And I can't be the reason you don't chase your dreams. I won't do that to you. So what are you saying? She swallows hard, tasting salt and regret. I'm saying go, and don't feel guilty about it. He stands abruptly, chair scraping against the worn floor. Unbelievable. Tae-hyun, you're doing it again. Building walls. Pushing me away. Deciding for both of us that this can't work. His voice is tight with frustration. Did you ever think that maybe I don't want the job? That maybe I've spent 7 years chasing prestigious projects and I'm tired? That maybe I found something here that matters more? Don't say that. Why not? Because it scares you? Because it means you'd have to believe someone chooses you on purpose. The accusation lands like a slap. That's not fair, she whispers. None of this is fair. He runs a hand through his hair, and she sees how exhausted he is. I fell in love with you. I rearranged my entire life because being here, with you, makes me happier than any job ever could. But you won't let yourself believe it. You keep waiting for me to leave, and now you're pushing me toward the door just to prove yourself right. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From loving you? He laughs, bitter. Too late, Marielle. I already do. And the fact that you think I'd choose a job over you tells me you still don't understand what you mean to me. Tears are streaming down her face now. I don't want to be the reason you have regrets. Then don't be. His voice softens. Stop making decisions out of fear. Stop assuming the worst. Just let me love you. Let me choose you. Why is that so hard? Because no one ever has. She wants to scream. Because everyone leaves. Because she proposed to a man who said yes, and then vanished. And she's been expecting history to repeat ever since. But the words stick in her throat. I need time, she says instead. To think. He nods slowly, picking up his jacket. Okay, take your time. But Marielle? He pauses at the door, silhouetted by the setting sun. I'm not him, and if you can't see that, then maybe I'm not the one who needs to leave. The door closes behind him with a quiet click that sounds like an ending. Marielle sits alone in the cafe that smells like coffee and old wood and broken promises, and wonders when she became so good at sabotaging her own happiness. Wednesday, Tae-hyun doesn't come for coffee. Marielle tells herself she expected it. Tells herself it's better this way. Clean break, no drawn-out goodbyes, everyone free to pursue their own paths. She tells herself a lot of lies on Wednesday. Thursday, the lunchtime concert happens. But Tae-hyun's playing is different. Technically perfect, emotionally hollow. Like he's performing a task instead of sharing a piece of himself. The crowd still applauds, but Marielle can hear the difference. She wonders if anyone else can hear his heart breaking. Friday. Nina corners her during the morning rush. You need to fix this. There's nothing to fix. Marielle. Nina sets down her recorder with deliberate care. I've known you for 3 years. I've watched you hide behind this counter, making everyone else's day better while yours stays small and safe. And then he walked in, and for the first time, I saw you bloom. You were happy. I'm happy now. You're lying. To me, to yourself, to him. Nina leans closer. He got offered his dream job and he wants to turn it down for you. Do you understand how rare that is? How terrifying that must be for him. Which is exactly why I can't let him do it. Why you won't let him do it, Nina corrects. There's a difference. You're not protecting him, Mar. You're protecting yourself from believing you're worth staying for. The words hit like a physical blow. That's not... It is. Nina's voice gentles. And I get it. Someone hurt you. Someone made you feel like you weren't enough. But punishing yourself, and him, for someone else's cowardice, that's not protection. That's just fear winning. Marielle's hands are shaking. What if he regrets it? What if he wakes up in 5 years and realizes he gave up everything for a woman who's too old, too set in her ways, too... What if he doesn't? Nina interrupts. What if you're the thing he's been looking for and he knows it? What if the only regret either of you ends up with is the one where you were too scared to try? Silence. I don't know how to do this, Marielle whispers. How to let someone stay. Start by apologizing, then ask him what he actually wants instead of deciding for him. Nina squeezes her hand. And if he says he wants you and this place and a life that looks nothing like Seoul, believe him. That evening after closing, Marielle walks to Taehyun's flat. She knocks. No answer. She knocks again, harder. The door opens. Taehyun looks like he hasn't slept, shadows under his eyes, wearing the same shirt from yesterday, hair standing in 12 directions. Hi, she says. Hi. Can I come in? He steps aside wordlessly. The flat is chaos. Half-packed boxes, papers scattered everywhere. His laptop open to flight comparison sites. Her stomach clenches. You're leaving, she says. I don't know. He sounds exhausted. Maybe. I've been trying to figure out what I want versus what I think I should want. It's harder than it sounds. Taehyun. I talked to my mother, he interrupts. Told her about the job, about you, about how I'm 34 years old, and for the first time in my life, I don't want to chase the next impressive thing on my resume. What did she say? His smile is sad. She asked if you make me happy. I said yes. She said then why am I still talking to her instead of talking to you? Marielle's throat tightens. I'm sorry, she says. I'm sorry I pushed you away. I'm sorry I assumed you'd regret choosing me. I'm sorry I've been so scared of being hurt that I hurt you instead. He's quiet, waiting. Nina's right, she continues. I've been letting fear make my decisions, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being small and safe and convinced I don't deserve good things. What are you saying? She takes a breath. I'm saying I love you. I'm saying if you want to take the Seoul job, I'll support you, but not because I'm pushing you away, because I want you to be happy. And I'm saying if you want to stay, I'll try every single day to believe I'm worth staying for. Taehyun's eyes are bright. And, she adds, voice shaking, I'm saying I don't want to be the reason you have regrets, but I also don't want to be the thing I regret for the rest of my life. He crosses the room in 3 strides and kisses her. It's desperate, tender, tasting like relief and new beginnings. His hands are in her hair, hers are clutching his shirt, and when they finally break apart, they're both crying. I turned down the job, he says against her forehead. She pulls back. What? This morning. I sent the email before I could second-guess myself. He cups her face. Because I realized something. I've spent 7 years restoring beautiful things for other people. And then I found you. Someone who's been restoring me without even realizing it. How could I walk away from that? But your career will be fine. I have other offers, freelance work. And Mr. Whitmore asked if I'd consider staying on permanently, maintaining the station's instruments, giving regular concerts, teaching piano to local kids. His smile is soft. It's not prestigious, but it's real. It's here. It's you. You're sure? Marielle. He says her name like a promise. I've never been more sure of anything. She kisses him again, and this time it tastes like trust, like finally believing she's chosen. The next few weeks blur together in a haze of happiness Marielle keeps waiting to end, but it doesn't. Taehyun moves into her flat, not all at once, but gradually, his things appearing like promises. A toothbrush in the bathroom, sheet music on the kitchen table, his jacket hanging next to hers by the door. The concerts continue, growing in popularity until the council officially designates them a cultural program and allocates funding. Taehyun starts a weekend piano workshop for kids, teaching them to hear music in everyday sounds. Station Tide thrives. Marielle and Priya develop a rhythm, the cafe humming with efficiency and warmth. Everything is perfect. which is when the letter arrives. It's a Tuesday. Gray, drizzling. The kind of day that smells like wet pavement and possibility. Marielle's restocking pastries when Mr. Whitmore walks in looking grim. "We need to talk," he says. They sit at the corner table. He slides an envelope across. Council's approved a development plan for the station. Corporate renovation. Modernization. They're bringing in a Starbucks. Marielle's blood runs cold. What does that mean for the cafe? Lease won't be renewed. They want the space for a modern food court concept. His voice is bitter. I fought them. God knows I fought. But the vote was 8-3. When? 60 days. The number lands like a stone in water, ripples spreading outward until everything's submerged. 60 days, she repeats. I'm sorry, Marielle. I tried everything. I know. She forces a smile. Thank you. For trying. For 15 years of trying. He leaves. She sits alone in the cafe that's been her sanctuary, her livelihood, her identity, and feels the walls closing in. When Taehyun arrives for coffee at 7:38, she's standing at the window, staring at the piano on the platform. Hey, he says softly. You okay? She hands him the letter. Watches his face shift from confusion to understanding to fury. They can't. They can. They are. We'll fight it. Petition. Protest. Get the community involved. Taehyun. She turns to face him. It's done. The vote happened. It's over. So what? You're just giving up? I'm being realistic. You're being scared again. The accusation stings. I'm being practical, she snaps. I can't compete with Starbucks. I can't fight a council development plan. And I can't keep pretending that good things in my life don't have expiration dates. Marielle, I need to be alone, she says. He looks at her for a long moment, jaw tight. Don't do this, he says quietly. Don't shut me out because you're hurting. I just need space. You need to let me help. I need you to leave. The words hang between them, sharp and ugly. He nods once, picks up his jacket, and walks out without looking back. And Marielle stands in her cafe, in the sanctuary she built from stubbornness and hope, and wonders if she'll ever stop sabotaging the things she loves most. 3 days pass. Marielle goes through the motions, opening, serving, closing, smiling at customers who ask if she's okay and lying that she is, avoiding Nina's calls, not texting Taehyun even though her fingers hover over his name 40 times a day. The concerts continue, but she doesn't watch. Friday evening, after closing, she's boxing up inventory when Mr. Whitmore lets himself in with his master key. You're avoiding everyone, he says. I'm busy. You're hiding. She doesn't argue. He pulls out a chair, sits with the deliberate heaviness of a man who's decided something. I'm going to tell you a story, he says. And you're going to listen. Marielle sets down the box. My wife, Sarah, died 15 years ago. Cancer. Quick and cruel. His voice is steady but soft. We'd been married 32 years. I thought that was it. Thought my chapter was closed. She's never heard him talk about his wife. 3 years later, I met Claudia at a Railway Heritage Conference. She was 61. I was 58. And I spent 6 months convincing myself I was too old, too stuck, too broken to start over. Mr. Whitmore. I made every excuse, he continues. Wrong timing. Too different. What would people think? But the truth? I was terrified. Terrified that loving someone again meant betraying Sarah. Terrified that Claudia would realize I was just a sad old man with nothing to offer. Marielle's throat tightens. What changed? She whispers. Claudia told me to stop being a coward. He smiles, soft and reminiscent. Said life's too short to waste on fear. Said if I wanted her, I had to choose her, not just accept her choosing me. What happened? We had 7 beautiful years before she passed. Best 7 years of my life. He leans forward. And do you know what I regret? She shakes her head. The 6 months I wasted being scared. The time I could have had with her that I threw away because I didn't think I deserved a second chance at happiness. Tears are streaming down Marielle's face. That boy loves you, Mr. Whitmore says gently. And you love him. But you keep pushing him away because you're convinced you're not worth staying for. And Marielle, I'm telling you as someone who's been where you are, you're wrong. And every day you waste on that lie is a day you'll never get back. But the cafe will or won't survive, regardless of whether you let yourself be loved. His eyes are kind but firm. The cafe's not your life, girl. It's a beautiful part of it. But that man out there, playing piano in the rain because it makes people smile, he could be your life, if you let him. She's sobbing now, ugly and uncontrolled. I don't know how, she chokes out. Start by going to him. Start by apologizing. Start by choosing yourself the way he's been choosing you. He stands, pats her shoulder. And Marielle? The cafe? I might have a solution. But first you need to fix what matters most. He leaves. She sits alone in the empty cafe, surrounded by boxes and memories and the ghost of a life she's been too afraid to fully live. And she realizes Mr. Whitmore's right. She's been so busy protecting herself from loss that she forgot how to fight for what she loves. It's time to stop running. Marielle runs, out of the cafe, into the rain, down the platform toward Taehyun's flat 3 blocks away. Her cardigan's soaked through in seconds, her shoes squelching on wet pavement. But she doesn't care. She has to tell him. Has to fix this. Has to... His flat is dark. She knocks. No answer. Knocks again. Nothing. Panic claws at her chest. She pulls out her phone, dials his number. It rings. And rings. Voicemail. Taehyun, it's me. I'm at your flat and you're not here and I need to talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please call me back. Please. She hangs up, staring at the dark windows, and feels the world tilting. Where is he? She runs back to the station, checking the platform, the cafe, the waiting room. Nothing. Nina. She calls Nina. Have you seen Taehyun? Marielle, are you okay? You sound... Have you seen him? Not since yesterday. He mentioned something about a concert in London. London. Marielle's stomach drops. She pulls up train schedules on her phone with shaking hands. The last Seoul Connection train from London St. Pancras to Heathrow left 2 minutes ago. No. She calls him again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Taehyun, if you're going to the airport, please don't. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I love you and I want you to stay. And I'm done being scared. Please, just call me. Please. She stands on the empty platform, rain pouring down, phone clutched in her hand like a talisman, and realizes she might be too late. That she spent so long protecting herself from loss that she created the exact ending she feared most. The station is empty. The piano silent. And Marielle has never felt more alone. She sinks onto the bench where she first watched him coax music from dead keys and lets herself cry. For the cafe she's losing. For the man she pushed away. For the version of herself who was too scared to believe in second chances. Marielle? She looks up. Taehyun is standing 10 feet away, soaked through, tool bag in hand, staring at her like she's a ghost. You're here, she breathes. I'm here. But Nina said, London. I gave a consultation for a museum in Kensington. Came back on the 6:15 train. He steps closer, concern etched on his face. Why are you sitting in the rain? She stands on shaking legs. Because I thought I lost you. Marielle, I'm sorry. The words tumble out. I'm sorry I pushed you away. I'm sorry I keep sabotaging us because I'm scared. I'm sorry I didn't fight for this. For us. For everything we could be. He's in front of her now, hands hovering like he wants to touch her but isn't sure if he's allowed. Mr. Whitmore told me about his wife, she continues. About Claudia. About wasting time on fear. And I realized I've been so busy protecting myself from losing you that I've been losing you anyway. You haven't lost me, he says quietly. I almost did. No. He cups her face, thumbs wiping away rain and tears. Marielle, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving because you're scared or because the cafe's closing or because this is hard. I'm staying because I love you. Because every hard thing is easier when we face it together. But the cafe? We'll figure it out. My lease? We'll figure it out. I'm a mess. You're human. He kisses her forehead, soft and grounding. And I love every messy, scared, stubborn part of you. She's crying again. But this time it's relief. I choose you, she says. I'm choosing you. I'm choosing us. Finally, he murmurs and kisses her. It's rain and salt and promise, the kind of kiss that tastes like coming home. When they break apart, he's smiling. Come on, he says, taking her hand. Let's get out of the rain. Where are we going? Home. And Marielle realizes, walking hand in hand through the storm, that home isn't Station Tide or his flat or any physical place. Home is him. Home is choosing each other every single day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Saturday morning, Marielle wakes up tangled in Taehyun's arms and makes a decision. She's not giving up. Over coffee, his dark roast brewed in her kitchen, they make a plan. Mr. Whitmore said he had a solution, Marielle says, for the cafe. Then let's talk to him. They find him at the station at 9 a.m., reviewing architectural plans. I was wondering when you'd show up, he says, smiling. You said you had a solution, Marielle says. He spreads the plans across the bench. The council's modernizing the main building, but Platform 3, where your cafe sits, is historically protected. Victorian architecture. They can't touch it without heritage approval, which they won't get. Hope flickers. So, the cafe stays, different lease structure, directly through the Heritage Trust instead of the council. Lower rent, longer term. He glances at Taehyun. And the piano becomes an official cultural landmark, which means you'd need a permanent resident restorer. Taehyun's eyes widen. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you both a future, if you want it. Marielle looks at Taehyun. He looks at her. What do you think? He asks. I think, she says slowly, that I've spent 15 years building a sanctuary alone, and I'd like to know what it's like to build one together. His smile is sunrise. Then let's do it. They sign the papers that afternoon. Co-lease holders, Station Tide, and the platform piano officially recognized as heritage assets. Taehyun's restorer position, formalized with teaching commitments and concert series. That evening, they sit in the cafe after closing, surrounded by their future. We're really doing this, Marielle says. We really are. I'm still scared. Me too. He takes her hand. But being scared together is better than being safe apart. She leans into him, and for the first time in years, the fear doesn't feel bigger than the hope. The weeks that follow are chaos and beauty in equal measure. They renovate. New paint, refinished floors, a small stage area for the piano when Taehyun brings it inside during winter. The community rallies, volunteering labor and skills, until Station Tide transforms into something new while staying essentially itself. The concerts move indoors. Taehyun teaches piano on Tuesday evenings, the cafe filled with children's laughter and off-key scales. Nina records everything for a podcast series that wins regional awards. And slowly, carefully, Marielle learns to believe she's worth staying for. There are hard days. Days when she panics about money, about age, about whether this happiness is real or borrowed. Days when Taehyun gets frustrated with her walls going back up. But they work through it. Together. 3 months after the new lease, he proposes. Not with fanfare or spectacle. Just them, in the cafe after closing, rain drumming the windows. Marry me, he says. She stares. I don't have a ring yet. I wanted to ask first. Make sure you wouldn't run. His smile is nervous, hopeful. Marry me, Marielle. Build this life with me. Not because I'm settling or because you're convenient, but because I can't imagine my days without you in them. I'm 48, and I'm 35, and I love you. Does anything else matter? She thinks about the man who said yes, for now, about 5 years of protecting herself, about Mr. Whitmore's story and wasted time and choosing fear over love. No, she says, nothing else matters. Is that a yes? That's a yes. He kisses her, and she tastes forever. The wedding is small, just family, close friends, regulars who've become family. They hold it in the cafe on a Saturday morning, rain pattering the windows like applause. Grace flies in from Manchester. Taehyun's parents travel from Seoul, his mother fussing over Marielle with the fierce tenderness of someone claiming a new daughter. Mr. Whitmore officiates, voice thick with emotion. Nina records everything, naturally. And when Taehyun says I do, no qualifiers, no conditions, Marielle finally believes it. He chose her. On purpose. Forever. The reception spills onto the platform, Taehyun playing jazz standards while people dance in the rain. Marielle watches from the cafe doorway, overwhelmed by the impossible beauty of her life. You okay? Grace asks, appearing beside her. I'm perfect. You are. Grace squeezes her hand. And I'm so glad you finally let yourself believe it. That night, curled up in their flat now, fully shared, fully committed. Taehyun traces patterns on her shoulder. What are you thinking? She asks. That I walked into a cafe looking for coffee and found everything. She smiles into the darkness. Poetic. True. She turns to face him. Thank you. For what? For staying. For choosing me. For teaching me that being chosen isn't about being perfect. It's about being seen. He kisses her forehead, her nose, her lips. Always, he murmurs. I'll always choose you. And finally, she believes him. Epilogue. 1 year later. Station Tide opens at 6:47 a.m., same as always. But now there are 2 people behind the counter. Marielle pulling espresso shots. Taehyun preparing pastries he learned to make from YouTube tutorials. They move around each other with practiced ease, the kind that comes from choosing to build a life together, daily, intentionally. The cafe thrives, the concerts continue. They've added a second location inside a small arts center in town, collaborative space for musicians and artists that Taehyun runs 3 days a week. Some mornings, Marielle still wakes up terrified it'll all disappear. But then Taehyun makes her coffee. Dark roast, Brazilian single origin, exactly how she likes it. And kisses her before heading to tune the piano. And she remembers, this is real. The door chimes. A young woman walks in, shaking rain from her coat, looking lost and hopeful in equal measure. What's good here? She asks. Marielle smiles, seeing herself 5 years ago, guarded, careful, convinced good things were for other people. Everything, she says. But start with the dark roast. It's honest. The woman orders, sits by the window, watches Taehyun through the rain-blurred glass as he coaxes music from the piano that everyone thought was beyond saving. And Marielle thinks, maybe that's what love is. Not being perfect, not being fearless. Just being brave enough to let someone stay. Being brave enough to believe you're worth choosing. Being brave enough to choose yourself. Rain drums the windows. The espresso machine hisses. The piano sings. And Marielle Ashford, 49 years old, silver threading through her curls, finally understands. She was never too late for love. She was right on time. Sometimes the most revolutionary thing you can do is believe you deserve the love that shows up in the rain. If this story reminded you that second chances are real, that age is just a number, and that being chosen starts with choosing yourself, then we've done what we set out to do. Thank you for listening.